Live here on Facebook and YouTube. By the way, if we get shut down for some reason, copyright, if it take off our broadcast, you can follow us on YouTube. And if for some reason that gets taken down, I don't know what to say. It'll be recorded and we'll put it back on later. I'm Mike, and let's get Louis into here. Louis, what's going on, my man?
What's going on, Mike? How you doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
Living the dream, dude.
Yeah. Looks
like Biden's going to win the election, so some new things to come for sure.
And that was our political moment, sponsored by CNBC. or I don't know. Anyway, let's get right into it, man. So Celtics, big off season coming up for them. Reality, I think it's two big off seasons because you think about it with the season starting in December now. They agreed to that the other day, which is kind of crazy, but is what it is. You really have two off seasons within the next year. So they have two really big off seasons, but we'll hit the first one. Before we get into it, though, Lakers, man, they're tied with us. 17.
Yeah, that Mickey Mouse championship.
Yeah.
We'll give it to him. We'll give it to him. 17 rings.
Hey, you know what? I feel like if I was 13, I'd be more upset than I am now. I could really care less about the tying championships with them. But, I mean, what was your thoughts on the Lakers team this year?
I mean, for the Lakers, I thought they had a lot. Like, from the beginning, I think if you could rewind to of our previous videos, I had the Lakers winning it all because I just think they had a pretty good supporting cast. I think an underrated supporting cast. When you talk about 3-and-D guys like Avery Bradley, KCP, winners like Rondo, I mean, Caruso, I don't really give a rat's hat about, but like Kuzma, those guys are some scorers around LeBron. LeBron is a facilitator. LeBron is also a scorer and probably the best player in the world. But to have Anthony Davis with him too and have guys like Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee, who are all proven players, I think was a recipe for success.
Yeah, they built the team perfectly. I mean, like you just said, they had the veteran presence. They had a champion in Rondo. You could say Danny Green, champion.
Left him out, yep.
Yeah, and you had the shooters around the team, which is something the Celtics lack both those things, the veteran leadership and the shooters and the veteran coach. Not Vogel, but you have Kidd on the assistant.
Vogel's not bad.
No, Vogel's good, but what I meant was you have the leadership of, Jason Kidd. I mean, no matter what you say about him, he's still a player. People still respect him for whatever he's done. So I think that's definitely a big thing with them. But how do you see them going into next year? You think they can do it again? You think, LeBron James, how many more years you think he has?
I would say I'd give LeBron another 2 more years, I think, of like averaging 25 plus. I think personally, I think he's aging like fine wine. So I don't know. I could be eating my words. He could be playing until 42, 43. Who knows? That guy takes care of his body. The regimens he does is just unbelievable. But for next year, I think it's key for them to re-sign Rondo. I think Rondo is a big part of that run. Say what you want to say about him not being a great shooter, being a knucklehead for coaches, but he is a winner. And when it comes down to it, they need those guys. I think the Lakers are also trying to leverage their way to get a third star in the mix too. I think they're looking at like a Bradley Beal or a Victor Oladipo or one of those guys, maybe even a Giannis if they could get him. And somehow if they did, that'd be absolutely insane. But a guy who could shoot, probably more specifically like a Bradley Beal, Buddy Hield, one of those kind of players I think they're aiming to get.
Yeah, and I think with the Lakers, I think LeBron was a genius. And why I say that?
LeBron the GM.
Yeah, no, he really. I mean, look at this. He decided, what he did in Miami. Yeah. He came to the Lakers. He knows he's aging, even though he's playing like he's 25. But he knows he's getting up there in age. He might have a goal maybe to play till 40 or maybe play 38, whatever it is, however long he wants to play for. He picked a young franchise player to partner up with. He didn't go and try to partner up with some aging veteran. He decided to go play with a young franchise player who's already at the franchise player designation, he decided to partner up with him because here's the thing. Once LeBron's done, that's Anthony Davis's team. And Anthony Davis also made, now obviously he got traded there, but I know he wanted to go there and he probably would have ended up there anyway. But he made the right decision, partner up with LeBron. He gets to learn from that guy. He gets to take over for that guy when he's done, whether that's 3 years from now, whether that's 10 years from now, because he ages like Tom Brady. I mean, he's the Tom Brady of basketball. He was smart though. He say what you want about him. He's a great player. He is a great guy off the court. You never have any issues. And he could be a successful GM if he ever wants to. If he ever wants to, he'd be a great. I mean, if he ever, let's say he goes to Cleveland after he's done, you always have ties there, and he says, "I'm going to take over GM." People are going to want to go play because he's the GM. Now, you could also say people want to go to Charlotte to play for Michael Jordan, but that's a different story. So maybe not the case, but I think as a GM in terms of trades and being able to put a good team around him, I think that would be great for him post basketball.
If he was a GM, I don't think he'd be. I think he's smarter than to be the GM of the Cleveland Cavaliers because no one wants to play in Cleveland. I'm sorry.
I know. I only say that because of his ties to them. I mean, I know he still plays. I know he plays for the Lakers, but he's still got ties to them.
I hear you. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think there are rumors that the Clippers are trying to sign Rondo. I think that was one of the rumors I was hearing recently. It's interesting. I think that team could definitely use a Rajon Rondo just to get the ball in their hands. Just to run the show. Patrick Beverley is not going to get it done. I think Patrick Beverley splits in the playoffs where I think 4 points a game, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. So that's not going to get it done at the point guard position. You need someone like Rondo who's going to compete at a high level. Maybe not the best defender, but can gamble, get you some steals with the long wingspan that he has. But that playoff dough, man, it's contagious. And it's not just contagious to him, but contagious to his teammates. They all feed off of him. He ramps the pace up to another level.
Yeah, not to be a green teamer, but I think when it comes to Smart or Beverly, I think Beverly's a smaller version of Smart, but I think Smart is the better distributor of the ball. I think you can put the ball in Smart's hand, and he has no problem getting 10 assists. I think with Beverly, he tries to get into the head of the other players, but I think Beverly feels like he has to be a part of every single moment. I don't think Beverly can ever stay away from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just something about him where I think he's a time bomb.
He's an antagonist.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think Smart has that to him too. But I just think in terms of passing in general, I think Marcus Smart is the better distributor in that case. But yeah, Rondo, who's to say 6 years ago when they traded him, whatever it was, everyone said about his leadership skills and he couldn't do it. Now look at this guy. I mean, he's not putting up great, even though playoffs he did, but he's a playoff. He shows up.
Let me interject here.
In the best time.
With New Orleans, he was.
Oh, he was a phenomenal.
Balling, man. He was balling with New Orleans. That was after stints with
Chicago.
I think, dude, he's been all over the place.
Chicago and Dallas.
Traded to the Mavericks. Then I think he's with the Kings. And then Sacramento guy. No one wants to be over there.
He played good with them too.
Yeah,
he was all right.
Cousins, yeah.
He was all right.
He was with the Kings, the Bulls. Like, holy God, man.
Yeah.
Now Pelicans and then Lakers. Like, it's unreal. This guy's been tossed around like a redheaded stepchild. It's unreal.
Yeah, no, it's he's turned into a player that, I mean, I always thought he was that player. I think in terms of a distributor, the leadership kind of was a void, I think, earlier in his career because he had those guys. He had Garnett, he had Pierce around him. I think when he got traded or when he took over as the leader of the Celtics, he wasn't ready, but I think putting him.
It was tough. Like, you had Keith Bogans, Gerald Wallace, like Chris Humphries, Jeff Green. Like, really? You didn't give him anything. Like,
no, he had nothing. He had nothing. And I don't blame Danny Ainge for trading him either. I mean, I don't. He Danny Ainge, kind of like what Bill Belichick did, it wasn't a smooth transition at first, kind of like what Bill Belichick's going through. So you had to get rid of that guy. Right. And I'm not saying Rondo would have been a star player for the Celtics. I mean, I don't think Rondo is at a franchise player level.
Third banana. He's a solid third banana.
I think he's a solid fourth or fifth guy. I don't think he's the third. I don't think you're going to have a big
During
three
that
of you,
time,
know.
During that time, I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, during that time. Yeah. Absolutely. But no, I'm happy for him. You know, I would love to see him back in a Celtics uniform off the bench. They're probably not going to happen because Danny Ainge is not going to probably do anything this offseason, which we'll get into. But any finishing thoughts on the Lakers at all?
No, I was just happy for Rondo to get his chip. I don't know if J.R. Smith somehow snuck in another ring too. Didn't do absolutely jack squat. I don't know if Avery Bradley gets his ring because he just elected to not go in the bubble due to Black Lives Matter, and I don't know if it's due to COVID as well. But I mean, he took that stance, and I respect him for it. But I'm not sure.
I think he was having a baby or something. I think he should. He was a big part of that team. I mean, I think with Bradley, I think it would have been even easier for them to get by. I don't think they go, you know, with I don't think Portland makes it that much. Did Portland only win one game though? It was only one game or two games, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it was like the first playoffs like series, so you can't expect
I think Bradley would have helped them a ton, even though they won. I think Bradley still would have been a positive.
Oh, he would have guarded Harrow. He would have guarded any of those guys. Duncan Robinson. He'd be an off-ball pest. On-ball pest. And
that's what kills it. It's like you see Crowder, Olynyk, Bradley, all in the finals.
Rondo, yeah.
But I'm just talking about the you want to call it the Bridgie team. Like those guys would be you telling me the Celtics couldn't have used those guys off the bench this year? You know, that's just what stinks.
Definitely.
Even Olynyk, and I hate that guy, but even him, it's like I would have taken him off the bench. I would have taken Crowder off the bench. I would have taken Bradley off the bench.
So that's a good segue, right? We can go into what Celtics maybe bench needs at this point. I think that's kind of where we're going right now. So
yeah, my final thought on the Lakers though is it goes back to, you know, before for years everyone's like, oh, the Celtics are the next team. You know, they're the big dynasty coming up. They got Tatum, they got Brown, they got Kyrie, they got all these picks, and the Lakers still win a championship before you.
LeBron James.
Well, LeBron James, and I think it's just the lure of LA too. I mean, LeBron James definitely adds to it, but where you want to go, most people might want to go to Los Angeles to live the life. There's beautiful weather out there. Everything's great out there. It's too bad because the Celtics, I think, are a better basketball town for sure. Celtics are better fan base, but it's too bad. Oh, we got a comment. Let's see what this is. Lakers. Yeah, Lakers won. The Lakers won.
Is that Will?
Hey, that's Will. Will Winfield says
Will.
Lakers. Yeah, you guys had a good team, man. You know, they built the team right. They built the team right for sure. But yeah, no, the Lakers won before you. I mean, how does that feel? How does that feel? Ainge gets all that praise for years, and the Lakers still beat you. And the Lakers still get to that 17 championship.
You let Tyler Hero drop 37 points on you in a playoff game.
Brutal. Yeah, LA has the Kardashians. Yeah, that's it right there. That's why people go. Unfortunately, I don't know why. They're all fake, but they go. There you go. All right, so let's get into we're Celtics experts over here. You know, we're definitely. I don't think we're Celtics green teamers. You know, we're not on the Kyle Draper level, but I think yeah, I think we're a little unbiased. You know, we're not going to sit here and say, you know, don't trade Tyler Zeller or don't trade Kelly Olynyk. You know, he's untouchable. Thinking, but anyway, let's go into it. So we had some thoughts and some a little wish list on what we'd like to see the Celtics do. My wish list is pretty big, but let me start it off. The first thing I think that needs to happen, I think is pretty obvious. The Celtics need to pay Jason Tatum. Sign him now. Why the deal hasn't been done yet, it's beyond me. They need to keep this guy around for as long as possible. Sign that max deal now. Sign it. You have him and Brown for the future now. Sign Jason Tatum.
I would agree. I mean, I think I think it's honestly him that's not re-signing yet to the extension because I think he can get more money if he goes in as a restricted free agent, goes test the market, another team offers him an offer sheet, and Celtics have to sign. So I think it's more of a leverage standpoint. And you also got to think now the salary cap is probably not as high as what it once was. So I think that's another reason why he hasn't re-signed that extension yet.
Yeah, but I think it's also a time for him, especially with COVID, that he should do it. Like you know, Injuries can happen. I think, again, like you said, with the salary cap issue, this is the perfect time for him to sign it. Get that extension. Kind of like what Patrick Mahomes did. I mean, he did that 10-year deal. He took the money now. Betts goes to L.A. He takes that money now. You didn't wait till free agency. Danny Ainge's number one priority should be to sign Jason Tatum now. Don't wait, man. Don't wait. That's number one. I think that's pretty obvious. My next one I had, get rid of Gordon Hayward. I don't care if he opts out. Make him opt out. Make it terrible for him. Tell him, he's going to be the last guy off the bench next year. Lie to him. Get him off this team. Get rid of Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, this is a tricky situation now because there were murmurs that he was planning on to opt out or thinking about opting out because if he opts in, he doesn't have any control where he gets traded to. If he opts out and finds a team like Atlanta, like a Detroit, like an Indiana, I don't know what team. I think Atlanta and New York have cap space to sign for that, but I don't know why the hell either team would do that. Honestly, I'm not sure why either team would do it. I mean, Atlanta, I could see them signing Hayward. I think that would be beneficial to them. But here's the thing about a player. The best attribute about a player is their availability. And honestly, the data shows that Hayward hasn't been able to stay healthy. I haven't been a big fan of Hayward's even since he came here. I mean, unfortunately, he's had some bad luck. And honestly, it's part of the business stuff, I mean, you feel bad for the guy, but business is business. I mean, he hasn't provided anything worth close to the money he's making. Last year, he had a decent season, but not a $34 million season. You brought him in here to be a number one, number two guy. Hasn't lived up to any of those expectations, with no fault to his own, of his own because of the leg injury. But if he opts in, they can trade him. You want Gordon Hayward to opt in. You want him to opt in because if he opts out, you don't get that cap space. That cap space doesn't reclaim that $34 million in cap. You do not get that. So, honestly, I would not to butt into your opinion, but I would see if you get either. This is gonna be crazy, but I think either you trade Kemba and you trade Hayward. I think you trade both of those guys.
Yeah. So quickly, is Stevens too loyal to Hayward? Hell, yes, he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah. That's why I don't like him anymore. And I'll talk about Stevens in a couple minutes, but yeah, no, definitely he is. So a couple of things came out this week that I saw, like it was on the radio. But I heard that Hayward has bought a house in Indiana. And also last night, I don't know if you saw it, but there was a video of Miles Turner working out with Grant Williams and Edwards or whoever, someone else. Taco Fall. Yeah. I would call Indiana, and I don't care. Listen, I want Miles Turner on this team. If you can get Miles Turner for Gordon Hayward, that's a win to me. I'm sorry, that's a win to me. I know Miles Turner hasn't played up to expectations, but I would get Miles Turner on this team. You're telling me Miles Turner couldn't fit in with this team? Please. I would see what Indiana does. If Indiana really wants to be that stupid and trade a young 24-year-old guy with all the potential in the world for an injury-prone 30-year-old, however old Gordon Hayward is, who can't play like he used to, take it, Danny. Don't go, Brad's going to be upset. He's going to be upset. I don't have Gordon Hayward anymore. No, trade him. And you know what, Louis? If for some reason they can't get someone for Gordon Hayward, I would trade Gordon Hayward for a second-round pick. I would trade Gordon Hayward to the Atlanta Hawks to stink and get their last bench piece that's never going to play for the Celtics just to get someone.
Like, you're too emotional. You got to think. You're too emotional, man. You need to calm down. Eat a Snickers, relax a little bit. Here's the thing. You need to make the money work. You can't trade people for a second-round pick or a ham and cheese sandwich. I get what you're saying. Like,
you could do a trade. You could do a trade for Miles Turner with the money works.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So, I think Miles Turner is projected to make 15, 16 million a year. I'm not sure what is exact. It's not fucking 34 million. It's not 34 million. Excuse my language, but it's not. But then you'd have to get Victor Oladipo. You'd have to get both. That's how the money would work. Because I think Vic Oladipo is making 21 million. And I think Miles Turner is making like around 14. So that's an even swap.
Yeah, you would have
You
to.
really want Gordon Hayward? Like they have T.J. Warren. They have Oladipo. They have these young pieces. So, but I mean, I think you put Hayward in that system, he might do better. I mean, honestly, as like the number one guy, he might do better.
You know, we only bring it up because it's a rumor, and you don't know. I mean, you don't know why they'd want to do this. Why Indiana would want to do this. Maybe they see something in Gordon Hayward and say, "Oh, maybe he'll fit in better with our system." I don't know. I can't tell you why, but we bring up Indiana because those are the rumors that have come up. So there was a couple like trade proposals. This one's a little crazy, but I mean. A three-way deal, yeah, I'm not even going to acknowledge that one. But you could trade. I saw one for the Celtics to the Indiana Pacers. Oh, right here. So these were a couple that were talked about, where Miles Turner would come back with the movie with the money working, and I got them right here. So you could do this package. So this is number 3. You can do Gordon Hayward from Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Lamb. Why they would want to do this, I don't know. That makes no sense. But you could do Gordon Hayward for Brogdon or Jeremy Lamb. Packaged together, the money works. Why they would want to do that? They're idiots. The second one is Gordon Hayward and a first-round pick to the Pacers for Miles Turner and Jeremy Lamb. So the Celtics are kind of saying, listen, we're going to attach a first-round pick to Gordon Hayward, and they're still going to take him. So you could do that. You can make the money work with Miles Turner and Jeremy Lamb, which I think is all right. I would take Jeremy Lamb
though, because I don't know what Jeremy Lamb's making. What is Jeremy Lamb making?
I think he's a little under 10 million.
Okay.
So Turner's like 16, 17, and then with him is about 25, 26. So I think you can make the money work a little bit that way. And then the first one, which I really don't like because I don't think he'll fit in with this team, is Gordon Hayward, first round pick from Memphis, and then another first round pick from Boston. To the Pacers for Oladipo and Lamb. I don't like that one. Here's why. I don't think we need another ball hog to take away from Tatum and Brown.
I would love to see. I don't know how this would happen. Pay attention to Philly, because Philly just hired Daryl Morey, and Daryl Morey is known for not liking guys that can't shoot the ball. And I have this affinity for Ben Simmons. I would love to see Ben Simmons on this team.
You want to see something?
Yeah, shoot it.
2 multi-team trades. So this is the one I wasn't going to bring up, but now you bring it up. Let's do it because I kind of think it's crazy. So Celtics, Pacers, 76ers, 3-way. 76ers get Victor Oladipo, Kemba Walker, Daniel Tice, and a Pacers second-round pick. The Pacers get Gordon Hayward, Shake Milton, Matisse Thybulle, Romeo Langford. We can't get rid of Langford, man. Ainge won't get rid of Langford.
Hey, you know what? Horford. Sorry, Romeo. I got your back, buddy.
You see stinks. Grizzlies first-round pick and then the Celtics first-round pick. And then the Celtics would get Simmons, Turner, Doug McDermott, and Jeremy Lamb.
Oh, that would be cash out for Boston.
Imagine.
Let me tell you.
It feels so unfair. It feels so unfair. Like, why would they do that? That's so...
I could see why. I don't know. I see why Philly would do it, because you're getting 2 guys that are a little injury prone. Like Kemba's got knee issues and
Oladipo.
But I mean, knowing Daryl Morey, if you can package some more picks, maybe like if you can get Philly to take on those guys. I mean, I don't know, because Philly's taking on $50 million, I think, in cap space. But if you can get Miles Turner, a big man that can stretch the floor. If you remember when Al Horford was here. Al Horford was a beast in the Celtics system, and people like Brown and Tatum played a lot better when Al Horford was here because he would open the floor up.
Yeah.
He would open the floor up. I love Daniel Tice, but he is no Al Horford. I'm sorry.
He doesn't do that.
When he stretches the floor. He's not that three-point shooter. He's not that as good of a defender. I mean, he's almost as good as a defender, but I think Al Horford was better during his time here. I think Brad Stevens' system works perfectly. If Ben Simmons and Turner, if Turner can really shoot the 3-ball like Al Horford can, and Simmons can handle the ball, get the ball to Brown and Tatum, and you add some shooters, I think, man, that's a recipe for success. And you have the size. I don't see why that wouldn't work. But I don't know if Philly does it. I really don't know.
Well, yeah, I think that that would be a jackpot. I don't think Philly does that. I think you're more likely to get a trade of Hayward, maybe a pick for Turner and Lamb. I think that's what you're most likely to see. Or I'm happy with him just getting out of here. No matter what, I think it's addition by subtraction with this guy. I'm not saying he's a bad teammate. I don't think he's a bad teammate. He just doesn't fit here anymore. Now is the time, Danny Ainge, to build around those two guys, Tatum and Brown. I think they've shown they can do it.
Though, for a second, of Simmons, I don't know who you'd have at the 2. I don't know if I like Smart at the 2, but let's say Simmons, Smart, Brown, Tatum, Turner. Man.
Or you do Simmons, Brown, Tatum, Turner, and you go double big. You imagine this is a huge lineup. Simmons,
Williams to shoot the 3, yeah.
Simmons, Brown, Tatum, have Turner at the power forward. Let him do his thing. Don't be taking 10 threes a game, but let him do his thing post up because he's got the mid-range game too. And then you got Williams. Hopefully he's better this year on defense. You have his defense down low. Imagine that lineup.
I think you need to play Miles Turner at the center. I think you need a 4 who could stretch the floor and rebound. So Grant Williams maybe is the guy you probably plug in there. I still think if with that lineup,
you could do that too. No matter what, it's better than this year.
You definitely need some shooting. So I think that's a pipe. That's my pipe dream. I did see that trade. I think Philly. I mean, you get Kemba and Victor. I mean, if those guys can get back healthy, I think that's a win for them too. You get Kemba Walker at 30 and Victor Oladipo at 28, 29, and you still have Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can lure Harden in when he tests free agency. I mean, hell, I don't see why. I mean, I can see why they don't do it, but I mean, if you're getting Kemba and Victor, and if you're getting them at their best, I think that's a pretty formidable team. If you don't think if you're looking at this, if you're Daryl Morey, do I think Simmons and Embiid can work together? I personally don't think they can work together. I don't think so. I think they need to be on separate teams. I like Simmons on the Celtics. I think he'd be a great distributor, blah, blah, blah. You know how I feel about Ben Simmons. And then for Indiana, I mean, I don't know. Are they willing to part with those two guys? It depends what assets they're getting. I mean, if they're getting, what was it? Did they get 2 first-rounders plus some Romeo Langford?
Yes. Yeah, Al Horford.
Thibault.
Yeah, and Thibault, 2 first-rounders.
Yeah, that's tough for the Philly to give up Thibault. I think Philly says no.
Yeah, I honestly don't see that happening at all. I more likely see a Gordon Hayward just straight up Indiana for those two guys. Why Indiana would do that, it's beyond me. I mean, I really just don't see no value in that guy anymore. And you know what? Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, the last thing I'll say about Gordon Hayward is I think Brad Stevens is a part of it too. You could look at the guy and say, listen, man, you don't have to be a playmaker anymore. Come off the bench and shoot. Because I think Gordon Hayward can be a good shooter when he's on. Be the shooter. Be the guy. Now, not at $30 million. No. So that's why it's not going to happen in general. But if he wasn't getting paid $30 million, I'd tell him, come off the bench and shoot. Be that guy that we need off the bench to score.
He's not that sharpshooter. He's not. And that's what the Celtics need. Like a Robert Covington kind of guy. That's someone who they could use, you know?
Yeah.
Rocco come there and play great defense, shoot the ball, D up, get rebounds. Like that's who they need. They need someone like that to plug in.
Yeah, and Hayward's not that guy, so I don't know why they're still holding on to him. Either trade him, or if you can't get anything, hopefully he opts out. Like really, hopefully he opts out. Get him out of here. It's time to move on. It's time to really give these kids more time to shine. So let's go into your second big thing for the Celtics. You have a second big thing at all? I kind of made a little list, but I don't know if you.
I mean, I'm kind of just going off what you were saying, but I think that the Hayward thing, is definitely big. It depends what he does. Like I said, like if he opts out, we don't get that cap space this year. But I think next year we do reclaim it, or we don't.
It opens up like 9. If he opts out or whatever, we have $9 million. I mean, in this salary cap nowadays, what is that anyway? That's maybe that's not a lot.
There's another option though too. So I mean, part of it is, can Gordon Hayward feel like, there's some unfinished business here in Boston and with Brad Stevens? Do I take a pay cut and re-sign to a longer tenure deal?
Oh, I'd hate that. I'm sorry.
I just don't,
because he's still going to get paid like $15 million a year. Like that's still too much for that guy. I'm sorry for his injuries. No way. Let Let Indiana or Atlanta or someone else pay that money to him.
On the Bill Simmons podcast, there was a proposed trade. I'm going to give it to you real quick. You tell me what you think about it. Gordon Hayward and the 14th pick for Blake Griffin and the Detroit's 7th pick. Do you do it? Knowing Blake Griffin's injury history and knowing Gordon Hayward's injury history, I think Hayward's the more healthier player. Because I think his injuries are more freakish than versus – is that Jesse or Ella? Who is that?
That's both of them.
Yeah.
You see some treats or something outside. It is. Oh, that guy's jetting. He just dropped off a package. He's out of here. Go get him. No, I wouldn't do that deal. I would not do that deal at all. Like, unless Detroit had like the number 1 pick. No way. Sorry, Blake Griffin doesn't excite me anymore. I don't think he offers anything to this team.
He plays a solid 30 games a season, and then he's out.
Yeah. No way. But yeah, definitely Gordon Hayward's got to get out. My second big thing was, again, to assess the bench needs. So obviously, if we can get Miles Turner, which I honestly think will happen, I would give that an 80% shot. I really do think Gordon Hayward's going to get traded. I think Indiana is the team that he's going to go to. Supposedly, there was a report came out yesterday. He wants out of Boston. I hope that's true. Again, I'm sure he's a great guy, but I think he's really out of here. My next big thing is obviously assessing the bench needs. Getting a shooter. Getting a big guy. Now, I think Turner can be that guy. So I think that checks off. I would re-sign a couple names I'd look out to. Number 1, I would try my best to keep Enes Kanter. Here's why. I think Enes Kanter, just off the bench, not as a starter, off the bench, he played well. I think Stevens could have played him a little bit more. He added something in that Miami series. I think Stevens' just rotations were kind of just all over the place last year. I think Kanter is a solid guy off the bench. I think he's a good teammate. He's good for the team. I would re-sign Enes Kanter. Or I think he has an option. Hopefully you keep him. Don't get rid of him. Don't decline that option. Pick up that option. Decline Vincent Poirier's option. Like, he has no shot here. Like, why you have to keep him? I would try to bring back Enes Kanter. And another interesting name on the block that I think will go for cheap. I know he's older, but just a guy off the bench. Let's welcome back Aaron Baines. Let's welcome him back. Solid guy. Bring him off the bench. Defense. He's been here before. Bring him back. $3 million, $2 million, whatever the price is.
I think he's going to demand more than $3 million a year. I think he's probably in the 8s or 9s.
If he fits into the cap, if we get Turner and we can get, I know Lamb can shoot the ball too, but maybe we can get Baines to come back for about that price. Maybe we have a couple million more that we can work with if Hayward gets traded. So I would try to bring back Kanter and or Baines. And then I think, with Robert Williams at the center, if we get Turner, having Turner at the forward or the center, and then being able to take Kanter, even Baines off the bench too. I mean, I think that's I think that's solid for them. You got some shooters for me? I know we talked about Robert Covington earlier, but I think we can only get him in a trade. I looked at some of the free agents.
But I mean, I wouldn't say anyone there's like the DJ Augustines of the world, the frickin' like the Jeff Teagues, I don't know if those guys are all free agents. I know they're not sexy names, but it's tough. There's not many shooters out in the market right now. I think JJ Redick might be a free agent. I don't know if he is.
No, he's not.
But
he's on a 2-year deal with the Pelicans, I believe. I know. A guy like, if we had the cap space, because I feel like he is going to command some good money. But I think like a guy like Danilo Gallinari, he knows his role. He's not going to want to come in and take 35 shots a game. He can shoot. That would be a guy for this team, but we're not gonna be able to get him. If we look down here real quick, some of the free agents coming up for this year. I had the list right over here. So it's really, I kind of looked at last night. I really couldn't find anyone that stood out to me and said, "Wow, this guy's a lethal 3-point shooter. This guy can expand the offense." Especially for the Celtics. So, if we you kind of got some feedback still going on your headphones.
Let me see if I can fix it.
But you got so you got some free agents. I think Paul Millsap would be a great addition, but he's too much money. He's not gonna he's gonna command a good amount of money. He'd be a great veteran signing, but he's not gonna come here for that money. Some of these guys Hassan Whiteside. If at the end of the day he's still left on the table and you can sign him for real cheap and everyone else is gone, okay. But Nicholas Batum intrigues me, but I feel like he'll be too much money.
Batum,
I mean, he's getting paid.
So overpaid.
Yeah, he's so overpaid. He has an option for 24 million next year.
That's a crime. It's a crime.
Like it's nuts.
A robbery.
Like it's nuts. I mean, you got Kent Bazemore, who's a free agent. Evan Turner, Goran Dragic. Evan Fournier would be a great addition too, but I think he's going to be too much money. He's going to be a free agent.
Like crapmento teams, like the Crapamento Kings. Those are like the teams that'll give money to like players like that, like money that they don't really deserve.
Jordan Clarkson is a free agent.
I don't love him. I really don't.
No, I mean, but there's nothing here in terms of.
That's his problem.
Yeah, there's just nothing here for 3-point shooting, and if there is, like Bogdanovich,
I like him.
He's gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid though.
From the Kings or from the Jazz?
Either one.
Yeah, I like the kid from the Kings. He's good. He can definitely shoot the 3-ball.
Yeah.
I also like Buddy Hield a lot too, but that's going to be by a trade, and if that were to happen,
there's really no one.
The one domino is Gordon Hayward. It really is.
He opens up.
That's the domino. That's
he opens
the first
up.
domino that tips. Whatever he decides to do is what we'll know, and what we'll know what the Celtics do.
Kyle Korver, free agent. I take a flyer.
The thing that frustrates me is that it seems like the Celtics don't really like to draft pure shooters because they have defensive deficiencies. Like Duncan Robinson was a guy who got attacked in the finals, but he held his own. I mean, in the Boston series, he wasn't the worst defender. I was watching him. He was playing hard, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can cover up those guys as long as they have some kind of size. If they're like 6'6", 6'7", can shoot the 3-ball. I mean, maybe you address that in the draft.
But on a team too that, I mean, we have solid defense. Not down low, but I think our perimeter defense is pretty solid. So I think taking a guy like a Kyle Korver, or if we had drafted, we need that kind of guy that can just come in and shoot. The Celtics won with Ray Allen as a shooter. Yeah, Ray Allen held his own on defense, but you need that sharp shooter.
Can run off screens.
Yeah, and we don't have that. I think Tatum's the closest guy to that, but you want Tatum to do more than that.
Like I said, my pipe dream is if they can somehow swing that mega deal, get Simmons, get Turner, man.
Yeah,
unreal.
I'm even happy. I think Lamb is still an upgrade too off the bench in terms of
a little that connection too, that UConn connection. A
little scoring punch, which I think will happen. I think they'll trade Hayward and they get that. But anyway, obviously fill the bench needs. I had a couple other ones too that kind of out there. But I think they are sort of reasonable. My third one is get a veteran bench coach. Literally, get a veteran bench coach. And I can't tell you any names out there. I'd be lying if I made up names. But a guy like, just for example, Paul Pierce, because he's a terrible ESPN analysis. Call him up, be like, man, we would love to have your presence on the bench. So a player, some sort of player to come on this bench and be able to look at Tatum and say, yo, man, take it to the basket. Stop forcing. Instead of Brad Stevens, hey, Jason, do you mind, taking it to the basket once or twice here? And then Tatum looking at him and telling him to go crap off, man. Gee Willikers, man, Jason Tatum, I need you to go down to the basket, post up. And then they're going to look at this guy and be like, what's this guy even talking about, man? I'm going to take they need a veteran presence on the bench. Heck, I don't even, I can't think of any names. I don't know if you have any names, but I mean, they need some.
Chauncey Billups, maybe.
I think he's already in Clippers or Philly. He
might be. I don't know. I don't know if he's in Philly.
He's somewhere. I remember him. He got signed. Oh, he's a GM or something. Let me see. He's on he's somewhere. But you need some sort of veteran presence on this bench.
Someone like a Chauncey Billups, someone that can really just reel these guys in.
Yeah, he's going on Ty Lue's staff. But see, they're doing it right over there. They're getting these players on there. So they need some sort of veteran.
A perfect coach for that team. Coach for that team.
Yeah. Yeah, they need something.
I bet Ronaldo goes over there too, just to cement his legacy.
Imagine he wins with the Boston and both LA teams. I mean, that guy, Hall of Famer.
His stats don't really tell it, but his presence would tell you he is.
It's like Julian Edelman. It's like Julian Edelman shows up in the biggest moments, and he was a Super Bowl MVP, like that right there, and he's second in all-time receiving yards behind Rice in the Super Bowl, or number one. He might even be number one, but his stats don't prove it. But I still think he's a Hall of Famer. I think Rondo can be a Hall of Famer too, if he wins one more, even potentially right now. I think he's on the cusp, but I think right now, if he wins another one, and he was a big part of that team, I think he's definitely up there.
So what are your predictions? What do you think is going to happen? If you had to jump in to December, what do you think this roster looks like? Starting five. That's a big question.
I go based off history. I think it's going to be Kemba Walker, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Grant Williams, and Robert Williams. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Now, please let me explain. Here's why. Number one, it's free. What's better than free? Number two, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcasts right from your phone or computer. You can literally go outside, record whatever you want to, and upload it. That's that easy. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more streaming services. Here's another great point. You can make more money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Okay? You can make as much money as you want, and there's no minimum on how many listeners will need to listen to it. And lastly, it's everything you need to make a podcast, a successful podcast, in one place. So they make it super easy for you. Here's what you need to do right now. If you're interested in making a podcast, you need to download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor, ANCHOR.FM to get started now. You do not want to miss out. Get started again. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm.com to get started now. Unfortunately, with Gordon Hayward coming off the bench, I really don't think I think Danny Ainge is going to keep all three of his stinking draft picks. And that's what I really think is going to happen. I don't have any faith in him pulling off a mega deal. If it was to happen, I think this is the perfect time to do it, but I don't think it is. There's something about him. He has become less aggressive. I see them trying to convince Hayward to stay. That's how much lack of faith.
Something's brewing in Boston.
Well, we've been saying that every year.
No, every year. It feels different because, Danny was like, we're not good enough. He said it. We're not good enough. And he didn't address the bench needs last year. I think this year there's going to be some smoke. There's 3 first-round draft picks. In a draft where we don't know if it's top-heavy, there could be some sleepers in the middle of the round that we don't know about, like Sadiq Bey. Okongwu has been the heavy coveted prospect that for the Celtics. You have Wiseman. You have all these guys. I mean, he's not going to drop to 14. Don't get me wrong, but you have some sleepers at 14. And I think even at 21 or 27, I think those picks are still valuable. And I think I see that mega deal actually happening. Call me crazy. I think Sixers move on with Simmons. I really think they move on with Simmons because Daryl Morey is going to shake this thing up. He's going to shake that roster up. For better or for worse, I don't know. But he does not like guys who can't shoot the basketball. I think he gets rid of Ben Simmons. Look at what he did with D'Antoni's system in the Rockets. He traded away Capella. I didn't think he was going to trade away Capella. And he put Robert Covington as his center. Like, he does things that are kind of like, that make your head scratch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see the Celtics starting 5. I see us having Ben Simmons. Call me crazy. I think Kemba gets traded. I don't think Kemba fits here. I really don't think he fits here. I don't think he shines in the big moments. You've seen that in the Miami series. I think he got compromised a little bit. You know Tatum's your guy. You know Brown's your guy. Those two are your guys. I think you need someone that can get to the lane, that can slash, that can facilitate. I think Ben Simmons is that guy. And I think if you can add Miles Turner too, I think we're going to the NBA Finals. So this is my pipe dream and this is my prediction. It might be it's probably not likely, but I have this gut feeling that we're somehow going to swing for Ben Simmons. I think we're going to have Ben Simmons. I don't know who the shooting guard would be. It'd probably be Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Grant Williams, Turner. I think that's the starting five.
Yeah, I like you, man. I do. You're my friend. I agree with you on the Ben Simmons part. Not to here. I don't think he's going to come here. I do think he gets moved. I agree with you on that. I agree that Daryl Morey is an aggressive mover, for better or for worse. I just think with the Celtics, dude, I don't want no more draft picks. I don't want no more. I mean, we're young. This is the perfect time to. You're young. You can also, mortgage the future a little bit because you're still young. You can trade, get rid of these picks.
Yeah, overpay a little bit too.
Yes,
Danny. Overpay a little bit.
Overpay. You don't need all these 3 picks. You know they've taken like 18 players in the last 4 drafts. 2 rounds, by the way. 2 rounds. 2 rounds. 18 picks and there's like 3 guys. You're still youthful. You got Tatum, you got Brown. You have I think Grant Williams is going to be a solid, piece to a nice team, like an off the bench or a 4th or 5th, 6th guy. You have Robert Williams, who I think is young and can be a starting center in this league, maybe as soon as next year or the year after. You have youth on this team. We have plenty of youth. We don't need no more. And Smart is still young if you decide to keep him 26, 27. Trade your picks. We don't need no more draft picks. We can't put any more players in Maine. Maine's going to be the best stinking G League team of all time. You can't do it. Get rid of these picks. I don't want none of these picks. I disagree with you on. I don't care about no sleepers. Romeo Langford was a sleeper. He barely contributed, and he was also injury prone. We don't need that. We need some veteran presence on this team. Okay. Part of my wish list was, and you brought it up, but I'd feel wrong one. We'll play that later. On my wish list, I wrote, take some offers for Kemba Walker. Just go to the field. See what you can get for him. Obviously, I think he's a good contributor to this team. I do. I think he can understand his role if needed. But I don't think he does fit in perfectly with this team. Like you said, I would field some offers for him, see what you can get for him. Maybe a late first rounder. Maybe you can trade him, and maybe you can trade him for some bench pieces, addition by subtraction. Maybe you can trade him to a team that is in dire need of a point guard. That's a little, desperate. Get some bench pieces. You don't even need a pick. Maybe a late first round pick. I would try to field some offers on him too. This is Tatum and Brown's team. I think you can win it with either Marcus Smart as your starting point guard or some lower level starting point guard. Because I think that's one thing in Brad Stevens' system that I give him credit for is any point guard plays well with him. Really. You from Crawford to Thomas to Kyrie is what it is, but he was the best statistically those 2 years with Stevens. So I think any point guard can play well. You don't need to be paying $30 million for a point guard.
How would you feel about the Simmons fit? If it were to happen in my pipe dream.
I mean, I think people better than Walker, of course. He is very dynamic around the basket, so does that clog up the offense though? Especially if you have Simmons, you have Brown and Tatum who can do both, score outside, get to the basket. And, if you put Robert Williams at the center, if you have Turner at the center, maybe that expands. So maybe it doesn't. Maybe Ben Simmons could be a good fit on the Celtics team.
That's I think what that I'm saying. With that lineup, I think it would be perfect. But yeah, I get what you're saying with the ability to not shoot. But I think he just brings so many.
He's more dynamic. I think people respect him more. I think defenses will respect him more. Like just the ability to get to the basket and pass and distribute. Listen, I think that's a great dream to have. Do I think that happens? No. And if it does, man, it great for Danny Ainge.
Are we raising 18?
Yeah, I mean, great for Danny Ainge, really. But yeah, I would take offers for Kemba Walker. Already talked about the veteran bench coach that we should have on the team.
What about a veteran bench player now?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
Is there one guy that you would really?
Yeah, I think. I mean, based on that list, no. I mean, based on the free agent list, no. I mean, there's no Paul Millsap's a good veteran player. You're just not going to get him for that money. You're not going to get him for the money he's going to want. I mean, there's no one on here that would work as a. I don't see really no championship veteran player that's going to come on this team and set a
Rondo.
Other than Rondo, yeah. Other than Rondo, I mean, is Danny Green? Danny Green, I would take Danny Green, literally off the bench, not to start, but off the bench. But is he going to want to do that? I don't think so. But there's no one on here. I mean, I'm looking through the list again. I mean,
I like Norman Powell from Toronto. I really did like Norman Powell.
But I'm talking about like winners. Like I want a championship winner on here. Like, did Bellinelli win?
No, but I like him. I like him
as a shooter.
Those are two guys.
Yeah,
you like.
I would take him. I know he didn't win. That goes against my point, but I mean, you have.
Those are
Rondo.
Shooters, though, you know, those are what the Celtics need. They need people who can stretch the floor, shoot the three ball, become a threat.
Can Barea shoot?
He's kind of washed. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean he's. Barea. I mean, you got him as a free agent.
Yogi Ferrell.
Yeah, Yogi Ferrell's a free agent.
I wouldn't want him either. I'm good with the undersized point guards. We need to move away from that.
Yeah, for sure. There's no one on here though that I see.
In Kemba for his size, granted he is a pretty good defender for his size. I think he's I don't think he's as bad a defender. I think he tries harder than I think he tried a lot harder than Kyrie. I think he's a better defender than Kyrie and a better defender than IT, which isn't saying much, but I think still better defender.
Yeah, and two of those three guys actually tried on defense.
Yeah,
the one in the middle did not.
Screens.
Hey, I just saw a name too. Not. I don't want to sign him, but it just made me go back to the Gordon Hayward point really quick. Gordon Hayward and Jeff Green. I think Gordon Hayward is Jeff Green. A little bit better, but very inconsistent. I think Gordon Hayward is just as good as Jeff Green was years ago.
Yeah,
I think he's a great comparison. Yeah, I think he's a great comparison. I just saw that, and that was a point I was thinking about the other day. Gordon Hayward was Jeff Green, and you want Jeff Green?
He just doesn't fit with Brown and Tatum. It's redundant, you know.
No.
It's redundant, and you don't need it. But you need bench depth, right? You need bench depth that can come in, step up. If any of those guys, like if Kemba goes down, who's going to be there? Like Hayward could come in and fill in and run the point guard duties, you know. So having him is not the worst thing in the world. It's just
the money. The money's crap, and it's too much.
And he's injury prone as well. So it's like,
yeah.
I mean, this season though, he did have I think he played 60 or 70 games.
Yeah, and I think he's a good distributor. Like I think the ball moves good in his hands. Like I don't get me wrong. I think there are times where the ball moves better in his hands than it did with Kemba or than it did with Kyrie. It's just you don't pay $30 million for that. Unless you're LeBron James or even Ben Simmons. Like, you just don't.
There were rumors swirling that, and I look on YouTube a lot just to see what's going on, and there were rumors about him going back to the Jazz. I'm like, Jesus Christ, why the hell would the Jazz do that for Rudy Gobert? Yeah,
that wouldn't make sense. I would do it in a heartbeat, but it wouldn't make sense.
Oh, Rudy over Turner all day. I would definitely do that.
Yeah. But anyway, no, back to that. So I had that, field some offers for Kemba. I also, one of the final two were number one, tell Brad Stevens this is it for him. This is it. This next year. Put him on the hot seat. Dude, this is it. You have one more year with this team. You have a 72-game season. This is it. We're giving you, and if Ainge goes out and gets talent, gets Turner, signs a good bench, not Brad Wanamaker, even though he played very well. I thought he played good. I will give him that.
He played out of his
his
value. Yeah.
Yes, he did. He played well, and he was good. Not Brad Wanamaker, not stinking Carson Edwards, not Romeo Langford, not Semi. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Don't give Stevens his bench. Give this guy a good team and let him have one more year. One more year without a stinking Kyrie Irving to ruin the team, or Al Horford, say what you want. Give him a good, solid team with a solid bench this year. And tell him he's got this year and this year only. And if he doesn't make it past the Eastern Conference Finals, or if they go to Eastern Conference Finals and lose in 7, okay. If he doesn't make it to the stinking third round, dude, it's over. You're not going to get anywhere. You're wasting Tatum and Brown. Now, they're still 23 and 24. They got plenty of time left. But the point is, I'd rather start now with a new coach at this early age than go and wait till they're 27 years old and say, oh, maybe Brad, you 6 years in a row, you made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. You couldn't make it. Tell him this is it for him. Put him on the hot, even if you don't mean it. Even if you want to lie to him and say, you're on the hot seat, dude. Make it known that he's got one final shot. I'm serious, because you know what? Maybe that'll give him an adjustment with his rotations. Maybe he'll realize that, analytics aren't everything. Kind of like you saw in San Diego, or not San Diego, Tampa Bay against LA, where they could pull the guy out in the 6th inning. Did you see that? When they pulled Blake Snell out, he was dealing. He had like 10 Ks, and they pulled him out and they lost the game, because of analytics. Tell this guy, no, this is it for you. This is it, dude. So I would do that.
I think an easier solution, and you mentioned it before, was getting that veteran assistant coach, getting that players coach that the Celtics desperately need. Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, they definitely need to tell him that. And then my final one, kind of like you had a pipe dream. I'm not saying I don't think this is going to happen at all. It's just a thought. If you're really going to be aggressive, Danny Ainge, which I think you should be this year, call Milwaukee and just make an offer. Just offer. Just have fun. Call them. See what they want. I'm not saying to do it. I'm not saying, trade Tatum. No. If you can make an offer, if he really wants out, you do not want him going to Miami. You don't want that. If you want him to get going, you want him to go into the Western Conference. You don't want him going to Miami. I mean, Miami's a very good team. And with him, it's even better. Make an offer. He's the only guy I'd really trade Jaylen Brown for. So make an offer. And just see what happens. Just have fun. And if they laugh at you, they laugh at you. But at least we can say, Ainge was ready to make a big move. That's it. That's all I want. If it happens.
Giannis resign here?
Yes. I think Giannis is staying in Milwaukee. I think he's different. I do. I think he's going to stay there. I think he wants to be there. I think just Milwaukee needs to do a better job of having a better coach, kind of like the Celtics, and building a better team of shooters around him. But I would make an offer for him just to have fun, call them. And that's it.
It's funny that year, just like the Sixers had Bellinelli and Ilyasova. I'm pretty sure the Bucks had Ilyasova and some shooters. Shooters are so important in today's league. You see that with Miami. You see it with, unless you have LeBron James, but LeBron James also has shooters around him too. I wouldn't say as the caliber of Miami shooters are held the guys I just mentioned, but you need shooters in this league. You need guys who can make shots. Semi Ojeleye is not a guy I want to rely on in a playoff game to make a shot for me. Kemba Walker is not the sharpshooter that we anticipated or I thought he was. He's no Steph Curry. He's not even a Kyrie Irving. He can shoot the ball. He can shoot the three, but he's more of a shot creator. He's not really a playmaker. He's a scorer, don't get me wrong, but you need someone to go in there and shoot the three ball at a decent clip. You know what I mean? It's so important in today's NBA.
Yep. And the thing is, the last thing I'll say is, what will he do?
Is that this Halloween?
That's Bill Connick. Is that Bill Connick? What's his name? I forgot his name from that stupid Last Dance I was sick of. Anyway, so that's kind of our wish list. Any final thoughts before we move on to our little game I have?
Final thoughts, Danny. I do have faith in you, Danny. I do have faith in you. I think some things are gonna swing the fences over here. So I'm counting on you. I know Mike doesn't trust you, but I still trust in you, Danny Ainge. Stop hoarding those damn draft picks.
Yeah, get rid of all of them. All right. Listen, we're going to be back in 30 seconds. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right. All right, so we got a little fun segment that we're going to do here. I thought of this last night. We're going to have some fun right now. And Louis, you get to do this to me next time we do a Celtics podcast. This is called Name That Celtic, man. Let's have some fun.
Yourself, and what would you like people to know about you?
I'm a fun guy. Obviously, I love the game of basketball. I mean, it's just more questions you have to ask me in order for me to tell you about myself. I just can't give you a whole spiel. I don't even know where you're sitting at.
He's right there.
Yeah, the glasses. There you go. All right.
That's the best video ever. Oh, my God. I love that video. Every time I watch it. All right, anyway, here's what I'm going to do, man. The years 2009 to 2012. I'm going to post a random picture of a Celtics player, a Celtics nobody. Then you got to tell me who that is. You ready?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. Let's have some fun. All right. Oh, this is going to be great. All right, first one.
I have no idea.
Wait, I gotta remove the banner. Hold on. All right. That's a little bit better.
I have no idea what that is.
That is the amazing Lester Hudson.
Oh God.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, Lester Hudson, man. He's a winner. Let me tell you, Lester
That's
Hudson.
a tough one, man. That's a first tough Celtic right there.
That I'm telling you, man. Let's see. Lester Hudson averaged a career 4.7 points a game. And Boston, he played 2009 to 2010. He averaged just about 1.4 points a game. So
That's
he
probably
was.
why I don't know.
Yeah, he was a big time player for the Celtics back in 09, 010. 010. All right. Next one. Moving on. All right.
Chris Joseph.
Hey, all right. First one. Ding, ding, ding. Chris Joseph.
Yeah.
Wonder if this guy's still playing. We're going to find out right now. Chris Joseph is career. He's played in 10 games in his career. He's averaged 0.9 points a game. And wait for it, for the Celtics, he was big time. 1.2 points. He actually was his career high. Was in Boston. 1.2 points a game for my man.
I really did.
For my man, Chris Joseph. And just in case, this is Chris Joseph's best moment in a Celtics uniform. Watch. Just wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, yeah. Pick that note. Oh. You remember that?
I didn't pop up on my screen, but
Oh, it didn't?
no.
Oh, are you serious?
Nah.
Can you see it now? Can you see it?
I can't see it.
Oh, it's Chris Joseph picking his nose.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe you can't see that.
Yourself, and what would you like people to?
You could see that, right? The Kawhi Leonard?
No, I can't see it anymore. I did see it before, though, which is weird.
Yourself, and what would you
StreamYard,
like people to
bugging out,
know about you?
StreamYard.
Did you see it that time? That's weird. All right, let's add in this. Let's add in this part over here. Let's see. How about you see it now?
I see a third screen, and it's buffering right now.
Hey, so I can see it. I don't know why you can't. All right. Anyway. All right. Let's Chris Joseph picking his nose. All right. Next one. You ready? This is a good one. Right. This is a good one right here.
Oh man, who is that?
Oh man. Got any idea?
No.
That is the one, the only Sean Williams.
Oh man, I don't know. Who that is.
That is Sean Williams. He played. He actually never played a game for the Celtics, supposedly, even though that looks like maybe a preseason game.
Dude,
Oh,
you got
that's a lie. That's a lie. Never mind. That's a lie.
Here, buddy. Jeez.
That's a lie. 3.7 points a game in 3 games. That's actually not bad. So he averaged about 1 point a game for the Celtics. That was a career high for him. Career high. Could you see the picture, though? You could see the picture?
Yeah, I can see the picture, yeah.
That's weird. You couldn't see the video. All right, next one. This should be an easy one. I hope it is for you.
Chris Wilcox.
Hey, he's the man. He was not bad. I'm going to say he was not bad.
Serviceable.
He was very serviceable. I would take him on this year's team at his time.
He's very mobile big.
Yeah.
Mobile big, yeah.
I remember one interview he said, I want to be the fastest guy down the court. And he wasn't. He never was. All right, next one. This is a guy who I really liked when he came out.
Oh, God. This is who we passed up for, is it Giannis or who did we pass? Jimmy Butler. Yeah, we passed up Jimmy Butler for him. Jawan Johnson. with the hinge in his jump shot.
Oh, my
It
God.
took 20 years for him to release the ball out of his hands.
Yep. Yep.
Good old
I can't find his stats at all. I'm probably sure they're terrible.
passed up for Jimmy Butler for that guy. Remember?
They don't even have him in Basketball Reference. So, all right, let's move on. All right, next one.
Equan's doing good, though.
Yeah, Etuan is a good player. He's solid.
Is his first name start with? Is his first name Chris?
I can't help you with that, man.
Is it Chris Bat or something? I don't know.
That is incorrect. That is the amazing Chris Johnson.
That's not Chris Johnson.
That's Chris Johnson, man.
No way.
Yeah, that's Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson from what year?
2010.
Dude, that is not Chris Johnson.
Yeah, that's Chris Johnson. That's Chris Johnson, dude. Chris Johnson was he signed a 10-day back in 2010 after the Celtics traded Perkins.
Oh, okay, but isn't there another Chris Johnson? Wasn't there another Chris Johnson that played for the Celtics? He was a lefty. He could. Yeah,
that's
that
Chris
guy.
Johnson.
That guy.
Yeah, there's 2 Chris Johnson. This Chris Johnson.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there's 2 of them, dude. Yeah, so the other Chris Johnson, I'm trying to find the stats of the other Chris Johnson, but that ain't happening. But this Chris Johnson averaged 4.4 points a game in his Celtics career. He was a big addition to that team.
He wasn't bad. I remember him. He wasn't bad.
He sucked. He was brutal. I'm trying to update the stat. Oh, here we go. Here's the other Chris Johnson. So this Chris Johnson, right here. Nope, not him. This one. This one averaged in 4 games, 1.4 points a game. So he was terrible, just as bad. All right, moving on.
That's the great Semi Erden.
Yeah. Yes. Semi Erden, man. He is the man, dude.
Turkish mafia man.
Oh, yeah, dude. Semi Erden. He stunk. He was always hurt.
Yeah. He had promise.
Yeah, he was always hurt. Semi Erden averaged 3.8 points a game over his 69. What a number. Over his 69 games. 37 games for Boston, he averaged 4 points a game. He was a big contributor to that 2010 team. Without him, we don't make it to the second round and lose to Miami. All right, now we're going. These are going to be tough, I feel. All right, here we go.
Carlos Arroyo.
Oh, yeah, Carlos Arroyo, man. Let's see what he did. Carlos Arroyo came in, and he was actually solid for Miami. I thought that was a good signing when they did it. I mean, it was a free agent signing, but he
not bad.
For Boston, he averaged 0.7 points a game. Big contributor on this one. All right. Next one. We got 2 more.
Oh, J.R. Giddens.
Hey, all right, dude. You're doing
Another
better than I
bust.
thought you. Yeah, you definitely busted for sure. He probably still is. J.R. Giddens, he played 30 games for the Celtics. And actually, he played for New York, too. New York, he actually had a career year, 4 points a game.
Is that the
Boston-
same year as the Bill Walker draft? And Bill Walker was a lot better than this guy.
I think
Remember
so.
Bill Walker?
I think so. J.R. Giddens. Yeah, and you want Danny Ainge to continue drafting.
I mean, he hit Tatum and they get Brown. So.
Yeah, the top 5. No, I get it. The late round draft picks are tough. I think he hit with Robert Williams. All right, last one. This should be easy. But let's take a trip. Hopefully you can see the video. Let's take a trip down memory lane.
And Orlando 4-2 before losing in the championship to the Lakers in 7. A missed slam, and O'Neal called for double dribble. Well, he ran it.
Oh, you're ruining it, man.
You can't see it.
How about now? Well, let's try it this way. Let's add in the third stream. Let's see.
And Orlando 4-2 before losing in the championship to the Lakers in 7. A missed slam, and O'Neal.
You can't see it?
No, I can't see it, dude.
What happened? I don't know what happened here. I don't know. Anyway, that was the incomparable missed dunk, and he fell into Jermaine O'Neal and cost the game.
Oh, the GOAT, Vaughn.
The GOAT
Wafer.
Vaughn Wafer. I am so mad we cannot see this video right now.
And Orlando 4-2 before losing in the championship.
Nothing, huh? You couldn't see it. That's crazy. I don't know what happened. But anyway, yeah, it was a video of him dunking and missing the dunk and then falling into Jermaine O'Neal back in 2010. Yeah, so that was Name That Celtic. That was pretty good. Juwan, man. Love you, Juwan. Lester, you gave us some good moments, my man. Chris, never forget you picking your nose. I honestly don't even remember this guy.
I don't know.
I have no clue who Sean Williams is. I really don't. I remember the other ones. Lester Hudson was kind of.
That was a
Not
tough
good.
one. Him and what did I get? 4 out of 6?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nick Wright.
That schnoz, man.
Nick Wright's always wrong. Anyway, just a little something fun. Hopefully next time you do it to me. We'll do a couple of years at a time. So maybe next time we'll do like 2015.
You definitely left some guys out there though that I have in my head. So
Deal. Yeah, I only did a couple of years. So, but anyway, I think we're gonna. That about wraps it up for today. Hopefully, people at home can see the videos that we posted. But any final thoughts before we sign off on anything?
final thoughts? No, I don't have any final thoughts. Danny Ainge, we're counting on you, buddy. It's a big year.
For sure. Yeah, they have a lot of opportunity to because don't forget you got not that I think Brooklyn's going to be amazing, but you got Brooklyn coming back next year. You have the potential of Giannis going to Miami, and Miami will still be there no matter with or without him. You still have Milwaukee back.
That
Toronto.
Milwaukee call, if Giannis does decide to leave, is interesting.
Yeah, for sure, and it all affects the Celtics. So they need to do something big. But anyway, please check us out on Facebook, Studs Podcast, YouTube. This is going to be uploaded to Spotify as well and all other streaming platforms. Support your podcasts, share them, because you know what? We're trying to make a dream a reality. We're trying to do this, having some fun. So please definitely support us with a share. We'll gladly support you guys as well. Next Friday night, we have a really big podcast that we are doing. We'll be sharing more about that next week. We're going to be doing a big roundtable discussions about the issues, not sports issues, not what you're going to eat for dinner tonight issues, real issues. And we're going to have some stories coming on. Next Friday night. It's not going to be live, but we'll be releasing it next Saturday morning. So that's going to be a big podcast. We're super excited for that. And with that being said, I think we are ready to head out. We are ready to bounce. We're ready to bounce. Louis, I'll see you soon, my man.